Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on how to build a faster, smarter localization process by combining AI, human expertise, and automation. My name is James, and thank you all for joining us today. It's going to be a great session, no doubt, with lots of actionable insights I'm going to share with you on what is currently a hot topic for anyone working content creation. Before we start, I'd just like to share a couple of housekeeping tips. So just to let you know, the session will be recorded for those who may need to leave a little bit early, but we will follow up with a recording for you in the coming days. There's also going to be time for Q&A at the end, so please feel free to add any comments or thoughts or questions in either the chat or the QA function, and we'll make sure we get to those. So let's do some introductions to kick things off. So my name is James, and I'm head of commercial at Comtech Translations. For those unfamiliar with Comtech, we're an award-winning UK-based language translation and culture agency, and we support brands communicate their messages globally in over 250 languages. Personally, I've got over 14 years experience working in translation, specifically with B2B, B2C, and brands and their agencies, of course. I also have the pleasure of being joined by my colleague, Mark Jones. Mark, would you like to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, James. I am head of technology at Comtech. My role sits between research and development, new technologies, and implementing our technologies to deliver a much broader, better customer experience for our customers.
Thank you so much, Mark. Mark is joining us today as the architect of our technology solutions, which I'm going to be talking about a little bit later. So he will be supporting in the Q&A with any questions you may have. So very excited to hear Mark's thoughts and insights later today. So let's get started. What are we going to cover today? So in today's session, we're going to first take a look at the current landscape of global content, just to kind of set the scene about what we're talking about today with regards to translation process. We're also going to look at the three most popular current ways of procuring translation services. We're going to have a spotlight on self-service translation tools in particular, looking at Comtech's translation tool Pronto as the test dummy to kind of give you an idea of how these solutions work. We're also going to have a look at how self-service tools fit alongside other solutions. And we're finally going to have a wrap up with our key takeaways and our exclusive offers, and of course, audience Q&A. So please feel free to pop those questions in the chat throughout, and we will get to you at the end. So let's get started. I'd like to look first of all at the current landscape of global content production to kind of understand and set the scene as to why brands are looking for smarter, more effective localization processes than ever before. So essentially, unless you've been hiding under a rock, I'm pretty sure you're all aware that the global data production is exploding. Take a look at this graph on the screen, showing you from 2010 to 2028 how much content is being produced every year and is available on the internet. We are living in a truly unprecedented era of global content and data production. I've got some more stats for you. So on the screen, I've included an image of Domo's An Internet Minute 2025, which shows the current amount of data being produced and consumed every minute of the day. And some of these results are staggering. As you can see on the screen, we have 288 people download Zoom every minute, 16,000 videos uploaded to TikTok, 3.5 million YouTube video views every single minute. There is absolutely loads of data out there. And in fact, global data is predicted to reach 181 zettabytes by the end of this year, which is in a couple of weeks' time. To put that into perspective, I've never heard of a zettabyte before preparing for this webinar. So 1 zettabyte is equivalent to storing 250 billion DVDs in their physical format. So that's a lot of data. Um, and what's more is more data will be captured, created, and replicated in the next 3 years on the rest of human history. So what does this mean for brands? Well, first of all, brands who are looking to scale or amplify their business, reach their new target markets, there's more content than ever to localize. And this brings us to why brands need a faster, smarter localization process than ever before. Now, the good news is there's lots of technology available, and there's been lots of developments in the localization industry over the last 2 to 5 years. which means there are more ways than ever for brands to access translation solutions. The trick, however, to achieving the fastest, smartest localization process for your business is selecting the most effective process for you. And that's based on a range of criteria from the type of content you're producing to your budgets, how you're set up internally, your global goals, how you're trying to scale, etc. So what we're going to do in this session is look at the options available, and then do a bit of wrap up at the end of how, with our recommendations on how to put in place the most effective localization process. But first, I think it's useful to look at what are the three core methods that brands can technically access for their translation services. So first of all, let's have a quick look. So we have number one, managed translation solutions, essentially your traditional translation approach, outsourcing to an agency. We have workflow integration and automation, and we have self-service translation tools. Now, we'd highly recommend working with your translation partner to help you define which is the smartest approach for yourself and your content. But let's have a look at each of these approaches in detail to set the scene. So, number one, we have managed translation services. Now, I'm sure everyone has used this in the past or is using this now for quite a lot of your content, but essentially what we call a managed translation service is when a brand outsources your translation and localization projects to be managed end-to-end from quotation to final delivery by a trusted translation agency partner. This has been around for many, many years and is still the number one choice for lots of different content types and brands. And there's loads of reasons for that. So let's look at the benefits. So first of all, traditionally, outsourcing your translations can be less hassle because the project management is done for you by your translation partner, saving your team hours of time. Typically, I'd also claim it to be the best approach if you're looking for the best possible quality. And that's simply because your translation partner has access to the world's best linguists trained in your industries and your subject matter, and they will manage the process end to end in an ISO quality assurance manner. So making sure the quality of your content is as best as it possibly can be. It's also fairly flexible because with a translation agency partner, you have the option of exploring lots of different workflows and solutions that are fully applicable to your content. So you can mix and match between AI, human translation, all the way through to transcription and copywriting. An outsourced translation partner will offer all of these solutions, so you can truly kind of pick and mix what you would like there. It's also, in terms of speed and consistency, with a dedicated service. And working with that outsourced partner, you have access to strategy, advice, and expertise. So managing your translation project start to finish is one of the ways you can go about translation. Number two, and this is where Mark Jones's expertise comes in, is all about workflow integration and automation. So what does this mean? So integration is essentially connecting your content systems, whether that's your CMS, your PIM, your e-commerce platform, directly with your localization partner's translation platform. Instead of exporting content or managing files over email, integrations allow content to flow seamlessly between systems for translation and once they've been translated as well back into your system. That essentially creates a seamless, structured process that enables continuous localization that delivers speed, quality, and consistency. What are the benefits of this method then? So it's an always-on, automated and efficient translation process. This is where it's super, super exciting, and there's some really cool stuff that the technology can enable to really make this process as seamless as possible and efficient as possible. So for high scale volumes of content, e-commerce, PIM systems, websites, this is kind of a really, really great option. It's also an integrated workflow because your systems are integrated with your translation partners. It reduces admin and speeds up the process. It's also fully customized, so you can essentially create the workflow that works right for you based on exciting triggers for transferring content, but also connecting multiple systems into one workflow. Imagine a solution where you can connect your CMS system with your translation partner's translation environment, but also hook up your instant messaging solution, for example, Slack, or your project management system, for example, Monday.com. There's some really exciting stuff you can do to get extra benefits behind the scenes. As a result of these efficiencies, you can essentially get to market really quick for your website content and your e-commerce content. And I would say, personally, this approach is the perfect blend of automation for speed, AI solutions for cost savings. You can experiment with different levels of AI solutions for your website content, and also human expertise, thanks to post editing of machine translations or linking up with human translation solutions. So, this is a really great example of an effective, smart workflow for localization of certain content types. This again will be managed with a direct translation partner. So this would involve linking up with their systems, but it's a great way of managing content seamlessly rather than providing it to your partner in a quotation by quotation type manner. The next solution I want to look at is self-service machine translation tools. So over the last couple of years, machine translation tools have become much more powerful. Gone are the days when Google Translate will be completely wrong, and they are much more powerful than they were before. So more and more brands are turning to self-service AI translation tools for immediate cost and time savings. But at the same time, it is important to proceed with caution when exploring self-service tools because it might not be the right approach for your content. As this is a fairly new process, what I'd like to do in the next section of this webinar is give you an overview of what self-service translation tools are by looking at Context's Pronto translation tool. With managed services, there is loads of content on our website about this, and I think everyone attending will be familiar by now with the traditional method of translation. I also did a webinar last month looking at continuous localization and workflow integration specifically. So I'll make sure to share that with you all following the webinar so you can have a look at that solution in depth. But for today, going to have a look at how self-service tools work. So let's take a look at Pronto, which is Context's self-service translation tool. So what is Pronto? There are plenty of AI-powered translation tools out there, but we've built Pronto differently. Pronto is Context's self-service AI translation tool designed for brands that need fast, cost-effective, but also reliable translations. And that reliability is the most important point, what differentiates Pronto from other tools out there. With Pronto, you get cutting-edge AI technology backed by the expertise of a trusted language agency, which comes with lots of additional benefits we'll explore shortly. And the great thing is, being a translation agency who are offering a self-service translation tool as a SaaS product, we get this all up and running for you, and we're with you every step of the way whenever you need us. Let's look at some of the features that make Pronto a pretty great solution in our books. So first of all, we're quite confident in saying that we feel Pronto offers the best possible quality you can get from an AI translation solution in terms of a self-service tool, that is. This is thanks to integrated translation memory and large language model capability, which enables AI post-editing. I'm going to come on to that on the next slide, so bear with me a moment while I go through it before I talk about the specific workflow. But some of the other features include it's available in 30 languages, which is pretty staggering for an AI tool. It handles all editable file formats. So whatever you need, if it can be edited, it can be translated. It offers full customization based on translation memories, glossaries, and your style guides. So as part of onboarding, we work with you to do the heavy lifting and make sure the tool is as optimized as possible for your content. It also offers unlimited user access, so everyone in your business can use Pronto, which means it's scalable across departments and across different local market teams. And finally, it's flexible. We offer different flexible subscription plans depending on the number of languages and the amount of content you need it for. So those are the key features of Pronto, but how does it work from a translation perspective? So Comtech is powered by a solution, what we call MTAP. So we love an acronym in the translation industry, as I'm sure many of you who work with translation agencies have seen before. But MTAP stands for Machine Translation and Automated Post-Editing. And this is the secret sauce that makes Comtext Pronto different to other platforms out there. So let's have a look at how this works. So MTAP is a customized automated blend of 3 technologies in one seamless workflow: machine translation, translation memory, and a large language model. Now, I think everyone is hopefully familiar with each of those terms and what they do. But the magic of Pronto, it combines all three in one seamless workflow. And that works in two key steps. Step one is machine translation. So this involves customized machine translation carried out based on an engine that we train on your translation memory, along with a bespoke glossary of approved terminology and style that we build based on your brand. Essentially, from the very first draft, the quality is better than it will be from any off-the-shelf machine translation tool. Most off-the-shelf tools stop there, but we have a second step that really helps improve the quality, the baseline quality of the machine translation. And that is automated post-editing via an integrated large language model. So you've all heard of large language models, whether it's Copilot, ChatGPT. Essentially, within the workflow, once step one has been completed, based on extremely clever prompts that we create for your brand and based on language rules, which my colleague Mark sets up for all our customers behind the scenes, your content is edited in line with these instructions to ensure that the wording reflects your brand's voice and the purpose while also adapting to the needs of your target market. So it's a really, really effective approach, and it really helps get what we feel is the best possible quality from a self-service solution. Before I come and talk to use case, however, I'd just like to show you a very quick demo video of how Pronto works. So I have a very quick 2-minute video to share with you. So bear with me one moment while I just switch over my screens. The magic of technology, people. Right, here we go. Can everyone see my screen again? Fantastic. So I'm going to play you a very quick video, a 1-minute video that just shows you how Pronto works in process. So enjoy. So on the screen, you're seeing the interface of Pronto, how you can select your languages, upload your files, and select the right subject area for you. And you've also got the step-by-step instructions of what it is doing. As you can see, once you've submitted your translation request, you get a tracking number, and it's available in our client portal to download. You also have the benefit of upgrading to what we call Pro Edit, as you can see on the screen, where you can request post editing by Comtech's translation team. And you'll be assigned a professional linguist who will review your content and make any stylistic and quality improvements to ensure it is fully client ready. That's, of course, an option for you, and you can upgrade by language or by a whole project. So that's a quick look at Pronto. Going to go back to my slide deck now. Reshare my screen. Hopefully that is showing for everybody. So that's essentially Pronto in a nutshell. It's a full self-service translation tool, and it essentially we set it all up for you. So here are some of the benefits of Pronto. First of all, it cuts traditional translation costs by up to 75%. This is basically being a full AI solution, but you do have the benefit of customization that improves the baseline quality compared to other tools. It offers near instant translations as well. The workflow that you saw in the very quick video, on average, can take less than 5 minutes, depending on if you're looking at a very small piece of content into one language. Nothing really tends to take longer than 10 minutes, and you're notified as soon as it's ready via automated notifications right into your inbox. It's also hassle-free. As you saw in the video, you simply upload your document, press translate, and it's pretty much done for you. The big benefit of Pronto is you stay on brand with smart customization, which Comtech set up for you at the very start. And another key benefit of why self-service translation tools are proving popular is that brands that want to bring translation in-house or want to be more in control of their translations, you can now do that. But a big differentiator I would like to call out is that with Pronto, you still have access to context expertise and linguists whenever you need us. And this is a big differentiator between Pronto and other off-the-shelf tools because we're not a tech provider, we're a translation agency who have built a SaaS product. So when you're looking to upgrade to post-editing, that all of your usual team of linguists will be on hand to complete the post editing for you, and there will also be the team setting up and doing the customization work for you, along with our tech team led by Mark. So before I move on, I just want a quick comparison of what Pronto offers compared to other off-the-shelf MT tools. Um, this is indicative of Pronto, but there are other tools built by other translation companies that work in a similar way. Um, as mentioned at the start of the webinar, it is important to proceed with caution when working with off-the-shelf self-service translation tools. They're not all the same, and a lot of off-the-shelf tools by tech providers are intended for in-house localization teams who have the full expertise to get the best out of the tool, or individuals. So as you can see on the screen, I've got a bit of a comparison of what some of the features are of a tool like Pronto versus an off-the-shelf tool. So we, for example, in Pronto offer unlimited users, a greater amount of languages, and greater amounts of editing and customization. But that said, there's a different solution for everyone out there. So I hope that gives a bit of insight into what self-service tools are. So we've now looked at each approach and a self-service solution in detail. I'd like to take us back to the original theme of our webinar, which is how to create a smarter, faster localization process. Now, I hope looking through each of the main approaches has been helpful along with their benefits. But in terms of where a self-service solution might sit alongside other approaches, or what is best in terms of creating the smartest, fastest localization process for yourselves, the answer is hybrid. You can absolutely, and this is the beauty of new technologies, mix and match the way you approach translation based on your content and your objectives. It's very common today for brands to opt for at least two methods of translation. And a lot of the brands we work with are doing this. And I've got some great examples to show you shortly to bring this to life. But if we're thinking about which of each option is best for your content, here are some examples on the next slide. So this is by no means completely fixed. These are absolutely, you can absolutely mix and match these, but this is where we're seeing brands nowadays really experiment with their translation solutions and make sure the solution they're choosing is best for their content. So looking at managed services, these are really the most effective process for creative, high impact content. E-learning localization and video localization, which also have multiple stages, and need lots of input and manual work. They're also kind of best placed with a managed service at the moment. B2C marketing as well, which is usually really super creative and lots of nuances. Managed service works really well for those as well, based on the linguist specialities being much more important than a more AI solution. And also branded and regulated content as well, where it's really essential to manage this process carefully from start to finish with human expertise and QA at every single stage. In terms of workflow automation integration, we're seeing some really exciting stuff in a few key areas that are really exploring continuous localization. So continuous localization is the process of, as mentioned, continuous localization cycles following an integration and based on automated workflow. Traditionally, this was kind of originated for software updates, so app and software localization, prime example of where this works perfectly. But lots of other kind of content types have since adopted the methodology. So e-commerce, website localization, translation of PIM systems en masse are all prime examples of where you can really benefit from an integration for bulk product or content updates, but also ongoing updates to make sure you're getting a fast, effective solution. But also at the same time, you have the option of experimenting between AI solutions with human editing, or human translation. And I've seen clients do every single possible option depending on how creative their website is, how much e-commerce content they've got. So you can really mix and match here as well. Um, and finally, multi-system workflows. I touched on it earlier. If you've got lots of work systems behind the scenes where you're storing your project management system, your project management information, you've got your content in a CMS system, you want to hook up with your translation partners, translation environment to automate content transfer and keep all your systems updated behind the scenes, you can do that as well. And that's going to save you loads of time behind the scenes. And as mentioned, that's all in the webinar I'm going to share with you as an example to have a look at. So hopefully that sparks some interest in exploring integration. And finally, we have Pronto. So Pronto, or a self-service solution, they are in general, as mentioned, based on AI translations first. But tools like Pronto have the option of upgrading to human post editing. Where we're seeing our clients explore Pronto is for internal communications, B2B and technical marketing, where perhaps style is less of a focus over terminology and accuracy. Internal training, customer support, customer service, and also policy documentation. Again, where it's more of an accurate translation needed as opposed to a polished stylistic approach. So hopefully that's giving you an insight of where perhaps some of your content might land. And you're probably thinking, well, actually, I'm a B2C brand or a B2B brand, but actually I also need my website translated or I do e-commerce. And that's absolutely fine. You can have more than one solution. There will absolutely be content that you want managed carefully by a project management team who are overseeing it for you step by step, especially multi-stage workflows. But also you can absolutely make use of automation and integration for other areas or AI in the case of a self-service system. So I want to really highlight two examples of clients we work with who are doing this and walking the walk and talking the talk, and they're getting some really exciting benefits. So first of all, we have the example of a luxury fashion brand we work with based in the US. Now they have two challenges. So first of all, they need fast turnaround for internal training documents to support their sales team. And they want AI translations for this because actually it's internal only. It's just to get a gist of the product information. But they also do a lot of complex multi-stage e-learning tools full of multimedia assets, really crucial language for the business and training. And that's too complex for machine translation based on their previous experience. So working with us, they are able to access Pronto for all their internal training documentation and all of their e-learning content, which is managed in tools like Storyline and Rise, so common e-learning authoring tools. We handle that process for them start to finish. So we do the full extraction all the way through to localization, management of review of their local teams, and rebuilding that for them. So what does that mean for them? Pronto is getting them near instant translations for urgent work. So their sales team are always needing the latest product information. They can get that to them within a few hours, not days. Um, Yet they're high profile, nuanced content that is also highly regulated, it's creative, it's taken care of by a specialist team of translators that's carefully managed for them step by step. So this is an example of a team working with two options. I also have one where a client is working with three options, so super exciting. So in this example, this is a European SaaS brand. They have their challenges, lots of work streams and content types, with content having different levels of value to the business as well. They also have very specific turnaround times and budgets in place, so they've got to translate in a smart manner according to content objectives. So how do they work with us? So firstly, they're using our Pronto for low risk internal only texts. So things that don't really need polishing, it's just AI solution which works absolutely fine for them. They can get those things really quickly. So things like emails, internal docs that need translating, the odd little word or so that's perhaps missed off a campaign. That's what they're using Pronto for. They also do a lot of detailed localization work for their marketing content, where multiple stakeholders are involved. There's client review, there's multimedia assets. All of this work for the marketing team is handled in a managed service way, where they brief in our team and our experts handle these from start to finish. Yet they also are investing in a website, their website, and driving this at scale to multiple languages and building on this all the time. And for their website, they need scale, they need speed, they need automation. So they've invested in integration with us where via their website, and Mark has built this himself. So he, like, if you've got any questions about this, Mark is the guy to answer them. They can pump content from their system straight to us. It goes into their translation workflow, which is in some cases AI with post editing by a human translator, some cases human translation from scratch. Again, you have the option of mixing and matching with integration as well, along with client review and multimedia localization at the end as well for their video content. So what does this mean for the customer in terms of the ROI? It means their budget is dedicated to the highest value content. They can do their internal bits, their low value translations in a quick, effective manner while putting their money into the right efforts. They've also got fast solutions for their needs, whether it's Pronto for internal stuff or the integration for their website. And essentially, their website having an integration, it's reliable, scalable workflow as they grow their website. So I hope that's given some insight into how clients are doing it. And there's also loads of potential ROI you can get. I just wanted to call out some really key stats before we finish off. So through content tiering, so by content tiering, I mean experimenting between AI translation versus human translation versus AI with editing versus transcreation. We're seeing brands saving 25% on average by actually using the right solution for their content, not just translating everything the old-fashioned way, which is super exciting. Um, Integrated workflows are we're seeing 40% improvement in time to market simply because we can get things done faster by cutting out the project management time and the file transfer time behind the scenes. So all the effort is literally dedicated to the translation and not the admin around it. And finally, we're noticing for brands who are looking at customizing machine translation to really fine tune the output. So this is a really good example of Pronto. Human post editing time of that content tends to be about 30% faster, which is super, super exciting. And that's based on specific language testing that we've carried out as well. So I hope that's been a useful overview of the various different approaches to translation and a deep dive into self-service machine translation, and also a look at how brands are mixing and matching each of these to get the most efficient process. As I said, the kind of future is hybrid, and I just wanted to show you a few key takeaways before we wrap up. So, first of all, we'd recommend working with your translation partner to review your current process, your content type, and your tech stack to identify any efficiencies or ways, I've missed a word off there, or ways of gaining a more time back on your translations. So, as I said, if there's anyone working with Comtech on the call, we're here for you. If you're looking at you want a pair of eyes on your process, we're here to help you as well. So it's always best to start with looking at your content, your process, and your objectives, and working from there in terms of what's best for you. As mentioned, the future is hybrid. We're firm believers in that. The tech is here and it's doing some really exciting stuff. And you can absolutely explore multiple solutions with the same translation partner. So don't be afraid to invest in the technology for streams of work where you need to get to market faster or you need translations faster as well. That said, despite the tech advances, managed solutions are still absolutely essential. Nothing beats human expertise. So for brand critical, multi-stage content, we'd still recommend outsourcing to your translation partner for the reasons we shared earlier in this webinar. And finally, self-service platforms are here, and a lot of the times they're really good, but do proceed with caution. Quality, speed features vary wildly across providers. So do your research. Something that seems super cheap and super quick upfront may not get you the benefits or the savings you're looking for in the long run. So just proceed with caution. And we're here to help with any advice on that if you would like to experiment with a self-service solution, because they can be a really amazing tool when used in the right places and using the right tool with the right customization. So there are kind of key takeaways for today. Before we wrap up, I wanted to give you two very special offers. So first of all, we have a QR code on the screen. We are offering a 1 month free trial, a no obligation free trial, I should say, to our Pronto system. So subscriptions typically start at 375 per month, but we're offering a month free for you if you'd like to try it out. Please scan the QR code on screen. That will take you to a website form, which where you just need to fill out your name, your email address, your company, and select the languages you like. That then comes through to us at Comtech, and we will set up your trial for you in the next couple of days. So I'll just pause for a few seconds if anyone wants to scan that. Perfect. And we have one more special offer for you. So, if you'd like to learn more about everything we've talked about today, we've created a guide called Smarter Localization for Global Marketing. It is chock full of more information on every single AI translation solution possible, where human expertise is still crucial in the process. It has a look at self-service tools and integrations, and it's got a glossary of all of the different acronyms and tech solutions available, along with links to useful resources on our website. So if you'd like to scan the QR code there as well, you can download that today. Right. That brings us to the end of what I wanted to share today. It will be great to see if anyone has any questions. So if anyone in the audience has a question, please feel free to pop that in the chat and we'll get to you as soon as possible. But while we're waiting for those, Mark, it'll be great to hear any insights from you, any thoughts and recommendations from our audience today, anything I might have missed or anything you'd like to throw out there.
No, James, I think that was it was great. Thank you for presenting the slides and the different solutions. I'd just like to touch on two key points. I think kind of reiterating what you've said really. I think the first part is really understanding that it's not a one size fits all solution. There are multiple options out there. There are multiple options for your different content types. It's also about finding what fits for you and ultimately what is fit for purpose.
Yeah,
Um, I think we both agree on this, and we're both huge advocates of this idea of fit for purpose,
yeah,
and that is finding the right translation localization level for the different content types. If you are working with a translation partner, they should be there to advise you and to help you build a strategy around your different content types. You called it content tiering. I call it content categorization. Other people call it content prioritization. But essentially, the premise is still the same. It's about understanding what is fit for you. A friend spoke to me about this a few weeks ago, gave me a really great analogy, so I'll share that. I'll share that with you guys here. And he explained to me it's like when you talk about content, content prioritization, it's this idea of had a long day at work, got home from work, and you're hungry, you want to have dinner. You could go to a Michelin-starred restaurant, or you could sit on your sofa and eat pizza, order a pizza and sit and eat pizza. They ultimately fit the same purpose, right? It's the same thing. You're ultimately having dinner, but subjectively, it might actually suit you differently. The pizza, in the grand scheme of things, might not be as refined as going out to a really nice restaurant, but it might
absolutely.
be actually what you need in that moment, and that's ultimately kind of what we're talking about here. The second thing I will talk about is around the technology. I think there's we can all sometimes get a little bit sucked into vendor marketing and all the bells and whistles that come with vendor marketing. You touched on this, James, as well. Is around doing your due diligence. You should be finding if you are looking at a technology driven solution, it's looking at a technology which fits your processes. You shouldn't have to change your processes to fit your fitter technology. The technology implementation should be seamless and fit your workflows as they are. Again, a good translation partner would advise you on what that looks like and how best to implement those things.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mark. I think those points are really fantastic. I love the analogy of the dinner. That's really, really, I'm going to be using that one. Um, right, we don't have any questions in the chat, so big thank you to everyone who's joined us today. We really, really appreciate it. As mentioned, we will be showing a recording of this webinar along with more details about our free Pronto trial and other webinar links that might be useful for you in the coming days. So please look out for that, and we'll be in touch with any further details as well. But yeah, hope you've had a fantastic webinar. I hope it's been useful, and we look forward to hearing from you of any thoughts. But for now, have a great day, and we look forward to speaking with you soon. Take care, everyone.